Synthetic fertility is one of the best origins that came out for the new Stellaris Machine Age expansion. In this video, I'm going to go over what choices I recommend making while you play it and how to overcome any challenges using the build. Unlike other origins or certain civics, this build is entirely dependent on an event chain that you must complete as soon as you can to get the most out of the build. There are many different options you can choose during this chain, but I am going to go over what I recommend in this video. If this video is popular enough, I may do follow-up choices regarding the other options that you can pick. But for now, let's begin. First, you must own the Machine Age DLC to play this origin. I highly recommend Machine Age. It is near up there with Utopia and Megacorp as far as high-quality game-altering content. Pick your empires as you would pick for a standard empire with non-Gestalt ethics. Then of course, make sure you choose the synthetic fertility origin. I would choose egalitarian materialist for this origin. That way you can choose oligarchy and meritocracy. Basically, you want to stack research bonuses with whatever build you pick with this origin. Spawn in and you will immediately receive an event prompt. You start with an identity repository on your home planet. If you don't already have one for some reason, build one immediately. This build is very powerful. It generates an incredible amount of research for the early game stage, as well as trade and other bonuses. How it works is when one of your biological pops perishes, it adds to the repository. From the moment you spawn in, your population on your home planet will begin to decline. So it is a race against time in early game. You must research robot workers as fast as possible before you run out of population to run your economy. You are very vulnerable at this stage of the game, especially by the time you start producing robots to replace your missing workforce. You may have to restart if the game places a belligerent empire near you, as at this time you are very weak. However, once robots fill most of your jobs, your economy will have a resurgence and your technology should be much further than most other empires. You will have an ongoing event until you finish Synthetic Ascension. Select Research Focus unless you are low on energy credits. Events will pop up that will give you technology bonuses and extra robot pops. Again, paying attention to the event chain is absolutely required to succeed with this build. You want to get Artificial Administration researched ASAP, even though this means foregoing critical engineering research. The sooner you get this technology, the faster you will recover from the lack of progress. The more pops decline, the more powerful your repository will get. This will make up for being behind in technology briefly. The next milestone in the event chain is the synthetic tradition. You may even want to stop with the current tradition you're collecting and go for this immediately, or at least pick it up after your current tree. Until you get synthetic traditions, the current event progress will be blocked, so get it sooner than later. At some point, all of your biological pops on your home planet will perish. The good news is your repository will be very powerful. You should have robots by now. Make sure you are colonizing planets with them. The next stage is the Digital Dream. You have 4 options. Pick whatever bonus you like best. The next stage is super important. On Virtual Salvation, it is best to pick Let Them Enjoy Nirvana. The other choice destroys your repository and all its bonuses and does absolutely nothing else. At this time, I don't know why you would choose that option. If someone knows why, feel free to disagree and leave me a comment. For now, select Keeping the Repository. Whatever choice you pick, you will get new edicts and research options. Research the new options ASAP and play around with the edicts and identity policies and figure out what best fits you. You should be able to build an identity complex soon. Your empire can only have one. Build it ASAP. The digital refactoring stage gives you the option between bureaucratic bonuses and empire size and edict bonuses. Choose whatever you like best. I believe bureaucratic means unity bonuses. The selection for organic cravings I think is not very impactful, so pick what you want. but on respawn you want to select exercise caution. For synthesized society, I picked allow officials to take over inefficient peers. Pick this for a better authority and better species modification traits that are absolutely insane. That should set you up for the rest of the game. At some point, you will want to remodify your species. There are some very powerful traits, just make sure you have the strategic resources to do it, especially volatile modes. I will briefly go over what I choose for my species. Then I will give some pointers about this build. So once you finish the synthetic tradition, you will be able to greatly modify your species and become almost unstoppable economically, especially if you manage to secure a steady supply of dark matter. For now, we will go over what I usually pick if I do not have dark matter. You get synthetic salvation by default with this origin. Inquisitive axioms greatly increases your research and helps your leaders. Moat-powered tools costs extra minerals, and more importantly, volatile modes. This may be something you are not used to. Make sure you are on top of your strategic resources like moats, gases, and crystals before you pick any traits like this one. However, I have found the cost is not too steep, and very worth it. Same with rare crystal exterior. This beast of a trait increases alloy production by 20%. The last is volatile moat reactor. This is really good if you plan to build habitats in your synthetic fertility empire, and you should. With robots, habitability is on 50%, but with this it's 80%, making it acceptable to colonize with little to no penalties. Very effective. This also, combined with robot planet type preferences, will make almost any planet 100% other than tomb worlds, which themselves will turn yellow. Negative traits are really what you feel like. I don't care about leader gain that much, in fact, it can be beneficial sometimes, so I picked repurposed hardware. You won't even notice deviance, so pick that. Same with decadent for the most part, though it does depend slightly on the build and ethics you choose. Now for an absolute powerhouse, dark matter engines. If you have dark matter, this is a must pick. This gives a whopping 40% resource gain for 2 points. This alone makes dark matter worth investing into later on when playing this origin. So that's my picks. However, you will be able to pick and choose as you see fit and look them over. I encourage you to check out each trait and build a species that fits your needs. Some honorable mentions. Integrated weaponry is great since, as far as I know, you can't have Mega War Forms or G-Warrior armies with this build. Just make sure you don't take this for your main population, but instead create the template to be used later in your army selection. Exotic fuel consumption, while not a 40% bonus, is still significant and only costs 1 point. Exotic gases also should not be a problem at this stage of the game. So a decent optional pick. As with all robots, you will be able to change their planet preference. I suggest making a template for each planet type. Dry, wet, and frozen. Then apply those templates to those planet types. One last thing about dark matter. You need to get dark matter drawing technology and have at least one singularity or black hole in your empire. That's it, guys. I really hope this was helpful in explaining synthetic fertility. From this point on, play the game as you see fit. There may be some parts of this origin that I may have missed. I do feel, though, that I have got most of the important stuff. There are also so many small choices that I could not possibly cover them all in a short video, nor without a tremendous amount of repetitive playthroughs. So play around with them and find what works for you. Or you can just follow this guide, which will work and get you far. Good luck.